I mean, we can just run down the list of the bad luck, but I care not to. Everyone knows. Like, really?
When he grabbed his shoulder, I turned into the Ben Affleck meme. I was just like how?
It just...
of all the things.
Like, if this is just a separated shoulder, please.
I'm kind of hoping that it was just kind of like his reaction was just like, oh, fuck this shoulder.
Yeah.
And like ran off because he knows that, if he did separate his shoulder, he's probably like freaking the fuck out because that's the shoulder where things happened before. And so I'm hoping it was just that and not like oh no, I felt this exact thing before.
Yeah.
I got to get off the ice immediately because my arm's going to fall off of my body. Like I'm hopeful, but like it's hard not to think it's going to be a problem.
It's just like, why wouldn't that be the case?
Of course, because
like,
this is what happens
the Flyers.
here. Yeah.
Nolan Patrick didn't just like have one concussion. He had a migraine disorder that derailed his entire career. He's out of hockey. Like, of course that's the way things are.
Of course.
Like,
our 5th overall pick is a dickhead and doesn't want to play here for no particular reason.
Why wouldn't he just quit?
Of course.
Like, of course he's just a quitter. It's just like the long list of, bullshit that has gone on with this team, especially since you and I have been covering them, but really our whole lives.
Truly.
And that gets me to one of our first questions of the day with the Jamie Drysdale injury, because we don't know what's going to happen with that until we find out. But it's looking ahead to how this is going to affect the plan. From Paul with the great car ideas, a regular on Mailbag Monday. He says, guess it's sort of a moot point with now with Drysdale, but do you think Stahl's constant lineup placement was not to shop him, but rather to see if the coaching staff can trust him on a nightly basis and being able to justify trading Sealer Walker? And it's really a question about Sealer and Walker, because people have asked, and it came up on 32 Thoughts today. But we'll start with Stahl, because Charlie and I in pregame yesterday were like, he hasn't been bad.
Well,
he's been fine. Well, you play him in back-to-back games. He gets out on the ice against Sidney Crosby, and he looks every bit as bad as anyone could have possibly imagined. Yeah. I think they just kind of get him into games to get him in there. I don't think they care about justifying his ice time because, he hasn't played for most of the season. No. He's missed way more games than he's played in. I have found it odd since Risto's been out that they've been like, we're still going to go 11-7 and get Stahl in there. That's weird.
It is weird.
And yesterday he plays over Zamula, who, as you pointed out, has been up and down.
He's been up and down. I think you've said this before, but I don't really think you need to showcase Mark Stahl to shop him.
No one is going off of what he does.
Yeah.
We are acquiring him to be a 6th or 7th defenseman.
And a good voice in the room.
Yeah, and a guy who's done it before, been to a couple of finals. You're not getting him because, oh man, that random Sunday game, he looked great. He played 18 seasons in the league. You know what you're getting out of Mark Stahl.
It could be maybe they're trying to ramp up his minutes slowly because they know that if they trade both of these guys, he's going to have to play a lot more games. And so they're kind of trying to ease him into the idea of being more of a nightly guy. But Torts likes him. I don't really know if it's that deep. I think Torts just likes him.
Yeah.
And I don't think Torts likes Zamula.
It doesn't
seem like he does. I don't think, maybe he doesn't dislike him in a Kevin Hayes sense, but he doesn't like him like he likes Forster. You know what I mean?
He kind of just sees I wanted to find out, and I found out, and this is what he is. He's a bottom pair.
He's fine.
We can play him, we cannot. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's what I believe they see in him, because that's kind of what I see.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something more, but it's been a while. It's been a while now with him.
There's been flashes of more than that, but he always seems to just regress back down to being just a guy, which whatever.
There was that period where all of a sudden the power play was scoring.
Yes.
And it was okay, well, he has a role. That dried up, and quickly so too did his playing time.
Yes, yeah.
Now let's get to the Sealer and Walker of it all, because that's really what people are most interested in. And Charlie had an interesting tweet about this, and it came up on 32 Thoughts today. Okay, if Drysdale, is out for the rest of the season, let's just say that that's the case for right now in this hypothetical. Would that impact Danny's plan at the deadline to potentially move on from especially Walker with, how many right side defensemen do you have? Not that many, but any of the defensemen, because, hey, now you're kind of just down to 6.
Yeah.
We had 8. Risto's hurt.
Right.
Drysdale's hurt.
We had too many. Now all of a sudden,
we have
flies.
none.
Yeah.
And Charlie's tweet, I thought, summed this up pretty well. If Drysdale is out long term, it certainly will test the Flyers' commitment to their rebuilding and will treat the deadline as such stated plan. Everything they've said publicly says that a Drysdale injury wouldn't prevent Walker being moved, but we'll see what they do. I know, we talk, okay, if they move a 5th for a goalie, that's a betrayal of the plan. But at the end of the day, that's a 5th. If they're well, we can't possibly trade Sean Walker because Jamie Drysdale's hurt, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Will be the thing that makes me go,
100%.
You know what? They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because you have a Sean Walker asset that was basically something for nothing.
Yes.
You were moving on from Ivan Provorov. You got your first.
A scratch-off ticket that you won.
And now
$20.
Now it's why wouldn't we
No, you have
get
to.
more from Sean Walker? I like Sean Walker a lot.
Yeah, he's great.
He has filled his role. He has been an effective player for this team. He's fun on the penalty kill, all that stuff, some offensive upside. He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
This is pointless.
Yes.
Now, I guess you can make the argument, say they sign him for 2 or 3 years for a lower cap hit. You could always still trade him. Right now is when, what are the chances he's this good next year? He's having the best season of his, have you ever heard Sean Walker's name before this year? Because I haven't.
Not really.
He's not a guy who, oh yeah, teams are lining. There are multiple teams interested in Sean Walker. He was a throw-in in a trade this summer.
Yes. A cap dump.
What are a cap dump so that they could sign another defenseman? He's a right-handed defenseman that a team hoping to make noise in the playoffs said, we don't need him. In fact, have him.
Yeah.
Take him. How can you possibly justify not trading him?
You have to, a couple of things. First of all, again, Charlie is right in his analysis. But also, I need Charlie to log off and have some Pedialyte and take a nap. He's sick. No more tweeting.
I see him tweeting. I'm like,
no,
go to
stop
bed.
it. Go to bed.
You're
Watch
not working
Netflix.
today.
You're sick.
You're
Stop
not working today.
But you're absolutely right. So I know the whole trade a guy at the deadline, re-sign him in the summer. I know it never actually happens. That said, it can happen.
It could.
There's no reason why it can't. There's no reason why you can't have that conversation with him.
Sure.
And say, listen, buddy, we like you. But also, we got to get a first for your ass.
It's one of the things
if you want to come back, we'll have you.
It's one of the things that came up a week or two ago, or last week, I guess, when they were they haven't formally started negotiations, but Danny did call up.
Right.
And it's they're in Toronto, where his agency is based.
Yes.
So they, talked for a minute.
Yes.
And that's part of it. Hey, we really do like you. You do fit this thing. If you don't sign an extension immediately with the team you get traded to, it's obvious you want to hit the market. What are you looking for when you hit the market?
That's the thing. Hockey players always do the stupidest thing and the thing that's most against their interests.
It's really hit the market, dude.
Yeah. You don't have to sign an extension with the team that we trade you to.
No.
That could be anybody.
Don't.
You have no say in it. You don't have to like them. You don't have to want to go there. This isn't a Claude Giroux situation. You're not choosing this. We could send you someplace incredibly shitty. You don't have to stay there. If you want to come back, the team has pretty much openly said, we'll have you back. So say, okay, sucks. I don't want to be traded. Moving is annoying, but take the trade. Go do whatever happens on the team that's going to make the playoffs and is probably going to be making a push because who else would be picking you up? See what happens. If you like it there, then okay. You learned something. But if you hate it and you want to come back, the Flyers will almost certainly sign him. So it can happen, but you can't. It's the same as the goalie thing. You can't make a this year decision with any of these people. Because you've told us 100 times that that's not what you're doing.
This year and next year don't matter. So why would we plan anything around this year and next year if winning the games literally doesn't matter?
And here's the thing, sitting there watching you guys talk to Keith Jones, I fucking believe him.
Yeah. Maybe he's a great fucking con man.
No one's that good, dude.
He's saying things to me and he's saying with his eyes, I am telling you the truth.
Yes.
You know?
I 100% believe him when he says, I'm not, like, I don't care about these games. Like, he said without saying, we don't really care what's happening this season. We're letting the boys go out there and have fun. Cool that they're winning. We don't give a fuck that they're doing it.
And, like, you're seeing what, like, Sidney Crosby, maybe at the end of his career, is like a Mount Rushmore guy. You know, you're seeing Claude Giroux, an A-tier player in his mid-30s, continue to produce at a high level.
Yeah.
Sean Walker is not an A-tier player.
No, if he's a C-tier, is lucky with that.
I don't mean to disparage the man. He was a great find.
I like him.
But, like, yeah, it's just like your age and the timeline. When they told us Johnny Gaudreau doesn't fit the timeline, that wasn't a lie. It was just like, well, how the fuck does Risto and Travis Sanheim?
To be fair, that was the other guy.
But Risto and Sanheim and
yeah.
Tony D, but, like, these guys fit the timeline? That was really, like, Nick Delorier fits, you know?
Yeah.
That was really what the consternation came from. Sean Walker does not fit the timeline. He can't possibly be kept.
Here's my question for you, though, because we had a conversation before about Danny Briere needing to use this deadline to, like, not only do some stuff and get some things, but also, like, to establish himself as a general manager in this league. This is his first deadline. If a bunch of teams are trying to lowball you for Sean Walker, and the best you get offered is a late third, and Danny says, nah, because fuck you, you're not lowballing me out of a valuable player. Well, like, is that okay with you? Or do you take anything that comes?
I feel like you were here when we talked about maybe, I feel like a third or a fourth, like probably a fourth is, you get that for his rights.
Yeah.
Like, you get a fourth or a fifth for his negotiating rights for that window at the end of the season before July 1st. That said, I cannot imagine if there's multiple teams involved, you can't.
It's an unlikely scenario, yeah.
Kimmo Timonen couldn't play. And you got 2 seconds for him. It was like, yeah, I'll suit up and do what I can. Also, I'm taking my life in my hands by doing it, and I'm not all that effective anymore. Like, they didn't play him most of the time, you know? I can't imagine you can't figure out a way to get, like, 2-2s. At least something. A package with him and Sealer.
Joe makes a good point. Justin Braun
traded his deadline and came back. Yeah, they just did that. Yeah, it did just happen.
I forgot about Justin Braun.
I forgot all about that.
We just need to Justin Braun Sean Walker.
Can Justin Braun come back again? Because they might need him.
He might. What's he up to?
No, so that's...
Where is he?
Like, they have to... Like, Nick Sealer doesn't matter as much to me because I just can't imagine anyone's willing to part with...
I'm obsessed with the idea of trading them as a pair.
Me
Something
too.
about it makes
I really,
me really happy.
love that
it's
idea.
Fun.
Like, and that to me guarantees a first round pick, or at least like a higher end prospect. I'm not saying like your best prospect or something, but like a higher end prospect who could potentially be an NHL player. But just like if it's a third round pick for Sealer, I don't hate the idea of keeping him around a little bit. But at the end of the day, they should trade all the pending. Like, the thing that makes the most sense is trading pending UFAs.
Yes.
Everyone after that, you make your decision. You can punt on the decision.
Right.
But
the UFA's got to go.
The UFAs, Sean Walker especially, he has the most value.
We all silly like the mayor.